I've come to a high place. My relationship to high places is really important to me. The way that I can get perspective on my life, places that my life unfolds in, has been a great help to me. When I separated from the mother of my children and set up a new home, sometimes life seemed very serious, oppressive even, and being able to climb a hill and shrink the locations that life was happening in to something the size of my thumbnail, to be able to climb halfway to the clouds and see the sun shining through the clouds and casting shadows on the landscape here and there, on the city that I used to live in, and the bridges over the river to the Welsh side, and the motorway that I travelled along to get back to the city. And it gave a perspective on things that made everything seem much calmer, much easier. Shrinking my entire life to something I can see in one view was incredibly powerful. So where are your high places? That's what I'm wondering. I hope you've got some. And if you haven't, you should get a collection. Once I started to go to one high place, from that vantage point I could notice other high places. And when I went to that second high place, I could look back at the first, and I started to understand the relationship between the Cotswolds and the River Severn, the M5 running down in that valley, the M48 and the M4 bridges going over to Wales. I went to university in Cardiff. From the top of Glastonbury Tor, just south of the Mendips, it's possible to see the South Wales coast. And then I went to a beach at Clevedon, and I looked across the water and I could see Cardiff city centre nestling in the hills. And today I've climbed Kelston Round Hill, halfway between Bristol and Bath, and I can see the Brecon Beacons, and I can see the city of Bristol, and as I walk round the hill I can see the city of Bath on the other side, and I can see the river connecting the two. And it really helps me feel serene. Being able to locate myself in the landscape, not by knowing the theory of some map, and that if I get in a car or get on a train that I can get from a place called Bath to a place called Bristol. Not that. Standing and seeing the buildings in the centre of Bath that I recognise that I've been to, and then turning my head and seeing the buildings of Bristol that I recognise and I've been to, and seeing the distance between, which takes 30 minutes in the car, being able to see all of that in one turn of my head, it changes something. It changes something really important that's very hard to put my finger on, but I'm going to try. When I am in Bristol and I look to the horizon and I recognise the features of the horizon, I recognise Dundry, I recognise Purdown with the communication tower, I recognise the Cotswolds. I feel held by the land. I feel the sense of space. These locations and the journeys to them are real experiences, not marks on a map, not compass points, not words and stories, but actual places connected by the movement of my own body. And then all of that exists under the sky, with the wind blowing on me right now that's also moving the clouds, and I can see how a cloud is going to make its way from north of Bristol to south of Bath. I could, if I stayed here long enough, watch the shadow of a cloud make that journey. And I start to feel like I've got much more in common with those clouds. Being here with the sun shining on my face and the wind blowing on my back, making my way, moved and powered and guided by the sun and the wind. And to be able to connect to this feeling anytime I can see the sky, anytime I can see the horizon, and in a pinch, anytime I imagine the sky or imagine the horizon, it supports me. So my advice to you, get to a high place, and when you're at that high place, spot another high place and go there, and treat yourself to a hot chocolate on the way. I've got a sweet tooth. If you haven't got a sweet tooth, have a pasty, it's up to you. Yeah, connect those high places. Teach yourself the practice of gaining perspective and connecting those points, so that no matter what's happening to you, no matter where you are and what's occurring, you can always connect to the sense of space and perspective of being a cloud casting a shadow the size of a city, just blowing through with the sun on your face and the wind on your back. Right, I'm going to go for a walk now. Hope you enjoyed that one. Let me know. Give me your comments. I'd love to hear from you. Bye for now.